Every hated move, every shocking betrayal, these NBA villains weren't just players. They were legends you couldn't look away from. Let's dive in. Bill Laimbeer, a physical, fearless center whose reputation for dirty play made him one of the NBA's most hated stars. Bill Laimbeer entered the NBA in 1980 with the Cleveland Cavaliers, but became infamous during his Detroit Pistons bad boys era. Known for his bruising style, hard fouls, and intimidation tactics, Laimbeer thrived on creating chaos on the court. He wasn't just a scorer or rebounder. He was a psychological weapon, making opponents hesitant and fearful. Opponents often left games frustrated, nursing injuries, and resenting his presence. His sharp shooting from the outside added insult to injury. No one expected a center to drain threes while delivering punishing contact. While fans of Detroit cheered, the league's elite hated him. Championships and all-star appearances didn't soften the hate. Laimbeer embraced it. His career is a lesson in how fear, toughness, and relentless competitiveness can turn a player into a villain remembered decades later. Stick around. Next, we dive into Dennis Rodman, whose antics made him NBA's most unpredictable villain. Dennis Rodman, a rebounding machine whose wild behavior made him both feared and hated across the NBA. Dennis Rodman entered the NBA in 1986 with the Detroit Pistons, quickly becoming notorious for his relentless defense, record-breaking rebounds, and unpredictable antics. Beyond his on-court brilliance, Rodman dyed his hair, wore eccentric outfits, and flouted norms, making opponents and fans alike unsure what he'd do next. His physical play, trash-talking, and ability to provoke frustration made him a nightmare to face. Championships with the Pistons and later the Bulls cemented his legacy, but the league's elite often despised his methods. Rodman wasn't just a player, he was a chaos incarnate, a villain whose mix of skill and madness left an unforgettable mark on NBA history. Karl Malone, the mailman, delivered points relentlessly, but his reputation made him one of the league's most controversial figures. Karl Malone entered the NBA in 1985 with the Utah Jazz and immediately became a scoring machine, racking up over 36,000 career points. Known for his physical dominance, powerful dunks, and pick-and-roll mastery with John Stockton, Malone terrorized defenses night after night. But off the court, controversies followed. Allegations, outspoken behavior, and clashes with media painted him as a polarizing figure. Malone's competitiveness often bordered on ruthless, and while fans admired his consistency, opponents feared his aggressive style. Despite 2 finals losses, Malone's talent and toughness were undeniable, yet his villainous reputation lingered as much as his scoring legacy. Charles Oakley, tough, unyielding, and feared by everyone who stepped on the court with him. Charles Oakley was the embodiment of NBA toughness. Drafted in 1985 by the Cleveland Cavaliers, he became a defensive powerhouse and enforcer, particularly with the New York Knicks. Oakley's physicality, relentless rebounding, and intimidation tactics made him a nightmare for opponents. On the flip side, his aggressive style often drew fines, scuffles, and media scrutiny, branding him as one of the league's true villains. Fans respected his heart and loyalty, but his confrontational nature created friction off the court, including clashes with teammates and executives. Oakley wasn't just a player. He was a symbol of old-school intensity that polarized the NBA. Patrick Ewing, dominant, intimidating, yet often misunderstood in his era of NBA superstars. Patrick Ewing, drafted first overall in 1985 by the New York Knicks, was the cornerstone of one of the league's toughest franchises. Known for his shot blocking, rebounding, and post-scoring, Ewing was a nightmare for opposing centers. Off the court, his intensity and fierce competitiveness sometimes rubbed teammates and coaches the wrong way, creating tension in high-pressure moments. While Knicks fans revered him, critics labeled him a cold, unapproachable figure, a villain in the eyes of rivals. Despite the controversies, Ewing's career left a mark on the NBA, showing that dominance and toughness can be polarizing, earning both respect and fear across the league. Next up, Draymond Green, calm but deadly. Draymond Green, fiery, versatile, and fearless, but a lightning rod for controversy on every court he steps on. Draymond Green, drafted 35th overall in 2012 by the Golden State Warriors, quickly became a backbone of their dynasty. Known for his defense, playmaking, and intensity, Green's physical style and mouthy demeanor often drew technical fouls and league-wide attention. Opponents and fans labeled him a villain for his on-court confrontations, including playoff incidents that changed the course of games. But Green's leadership and unselfishness fueled 3 championships, proving that controversy and excellence can coexist. He embodies the type of player who pushes boundaries, frustrates opponents, and inspires teammates. A polarizing figure whose impact goes far beyond the stat sheet. Next up, Latrell Sprewell, whose anger shocked the league. Latrell Sprewell, explosive talent, unforgettable attitude, and a career defined by controversy. Latrell Sprewell entered the NBA in 1992 with the Golden State Warriors, quickly earning a reputation as a dynamic scorer and tenacious defender. But his career took a dramatic turn in 1997 when he famously choked his coach during practice, a moment that cemented his villain status in NBA history. Despite this, Sprewell bounced back with the New York Knicks, making multiple deep playoff runs and showcasing his elite skill set. His aggressive on-court style, combined with past off-court controversies, made him both feared and criticized. Sprewell's story is a stark reminder that talent alone doesn't shield a player from the consequences of volatile behavior. Ron Artest, a fierce defender, unpredictable personality, and a career that blurred the line between hero and villain. Ron Artest, later known as Meta World Peace, entered the NBA in 1999 with the Chicago Bulls, but made his name with the Indiana Pacers. Known for his lockdown defense and physical play, Artest became infamous during the 2004 Malice at the Palace, a brawl that shook the league and earned him a long suspension. Despite controversies, he helped the Lakers win the 2010 championship and evolved into a respected veteran. Artest's career is a blend of brilliance and infamy, showing how fearlessness on the court can make a player both celebrated and vilified, leaving a lasting impression on NBA history. LeBron James, a generational talent, but often criticized and labeled a villain by fans at different points in his career. LeBron James entered the NBA in 2003 as the first overall pick with sky-high expectations. His talent was undeniable, but in 2010, his decision to leave Cleveland for Miami shocked the basketball world. Millions watched him announce it on live TV, fueling outrage and making him a polarizing figure overnight. Critics called him selfish, while fans of other teams booed him relentlessly. Yet LeBron backed it up with 4 MVPs, multiple championships, and incredible longevity. His career shows that greatness often attracts hate, and being the best sometimes paints you as a villain in the eyes of the public. Coming up, Kevin Durant, whose moves sparked instant controversy and debate. Kevin Durant, a scoring machine, but his career decisions made him one of the most hated figures in the NBA. Kevin Durant entered the NBA in 2007 as the 2nd overall pick, quickly earning Rookie of the Year honors. Known for his unmatched scoring ability, Durant became one of the league's premier talents. But in 2016, he left the Oklahoma City Thunder to join the Golden State Warriors, a team that had just set a 73-win record. Fans saw it as taking the easy path to a championship, sparking waves of anger, memes, and snake labels that haunted him for years. Despite multiple titles and MVP honors, Durant's legacy is forever tied to controversy, proving that on-court brilliance doesn't always shield you from public backlash. Russell Westbrook, a triple-double king, yet his fiery personality often made him one of the league's most controversial figures. Russell Westbrook entered the NBA in 2008 as the 4th overall pick, instantly making an impact with his explosive athleticism and relentless energy. Over the years, he shattered records, averaging a triple-double for an entire season, an achievement no one thought possible. But his aggressive style on and off the court often drew criticism, from questionable shot selections to public disagreements with teammates. Fans and analysts labeled him as selfish at times, overshadowing his historic accomplishments. Despite an MVP award and countless highlight reel moments, Westbrook's polarizing nature made him both admired and resented, proving that greatness can come with a heavy dose of controversy. Up next, Kyrie Irving, whose talent and controversies continue to divide fans. Kyrie Irving, a magician with the ball, but his career is as controversial as it is brilliant. Kyrie Irving entered the NBA in 2011 as the 1st overall pick, immediately dazzling fans with his handles, crafty finishing, and clutch shooting. He won a championship with the Cavaliers in 2016, hitting one of the most famous shots in NBA history. But off the court, Irving's career has been filled with controversy. Questionable social media posts, vaccine debates, and clashes with teammates have drawn attention away from his talent. Despite all this, his skill is undeniable. An offensive force, a relentless scorer, and one of the most entertaining guards to watch. Kyrie proves that genius can be both celebrated and criticized. Next, James Harden, the league's elite scorer with a polarizing style. James Harden, a scoring machine whose style sparks both awe and frustration. James Harden entered the NBA in 2009 as the third overall pick, quickly earning a reputation for his step-back three, crafty drives, and ability to draw fouls. With the Rockets, he became an MVP, leading the league in scoring multiple seasons and redefining offensive dominance. Yet Harden's style is polarizing. Critics point to high turnovers, selective defense, and frequent isolation plays. Despite that, his impact is undeniable. He consistently controls games, breaks records, and stretches defenses to their limit. Harden embodies the fine line between genius and controversy, showing how one player's approach can electrify fans while frustrating opponents and pundits alike. Next up, Shaquille O'Neal, the unstoppable force who dominated the paint. Shaquille O'Neal, a dominant force in the paint, unstoppable yet polarizing. Shaquille O'Neal entered the NBA in 1992 as the first overall pick, instantly becoming a physical marvel with unmatched size, agility, and personality. Shaq dominated the rim, earning 4 championships and an MVP award, but his career wasn't without controversy. Conflicts with coaches, teammates, and even referees often overshadowed his brilliance. His larger-than-life persona, from rap albums to commercials, drew media attention beyond the court, sometimes distracting from his dominance. Yet Shaq's combination of size, skill, and charisma made him one of the most compelling figures in NBA history. A player loved, feared, and occasionally criticized, but impossible to ignore. Coming up, Vince Carter, the high-flying legend who changed dunking forever. Vince Carter, a gravity-defying scorer, a dunking icon, yet his later years left fans divided. Vince Carter entered the NBA in 1998 as the 5th overall pick, quickly becoming half-man, half-amazing with explosive dunks and silky jumpers. He redefined highlight reels, winning the 2000 slam dunk contest in unforgettable fashion. Yet Carter's career wasn't free from criticism. Injuries slowed him, and as he aged, his role shifted to mentor and spot-up shooter, leaving some fans longing for his peak explosiveness. Still, his longevity is unmatched. 22 seasons in the NBA, a record-setting journey blending athleticism and adaptability. Vince's story shows that even legends evolve, facing scrutiny while cementing their legacy as one of the game's most electrifying talents. Kobe Bryant, relentless, fierce, and unforgettable. Yet his final years sparked debates no one could ignore. Kobe Bryant entered the NBA straight out of high school in 1996, quickly becoming a scoring machine and 5-time NBA champion with the Lakers. Known for his killer instinct, Mamba mentality, and unmatched work ethic, Kobe dominated for nearly 2 decades. Yet, as age and injuries piled up, his once flawless athleticism began to decline, forcing him to adapt to a reduced role. Critics questioned his efficiency, but Kobe's heart and leadership never wavered. His legacy blends peak dominance with the courage to face decline gracefully. Even in his later seasons, Kobe reminded the world why he was one of basketball's fiercest competitors. Allen Iverson, fearless, lightning quick, a cultural icon, yet his later years left fans wondering what could have been. Allen Iverson entered the NBA in 1996 as the first overall pick, immediately electrifying the league with his crossover, scoring ability, and heart. A 4-time scoring champion and MVP, Iverson defined an era with his fearless play and unmatched toughness despite being undersized. But as injuries and age took their toll, his signature quickness faded and his efficiency declined. Iverson bounced between teams, struggling to adapt to diminished athleticism, yet his impact on the game and culture remained undeniable. His story is a mix of brilliance and fragility, showing that even legends face the harsh reality of aging and the physical demands of the NBA. Joel Embiid, dominant, charismatic, yet injuries and controversies have already shaped a complicated legacy. Joel Embiid entered the NBA in 2014 as the 3rd overall pick by the Philadelphia 76ers, immediately showing the skills of a generational big man. Towering, agile, and with a deadly face-up game, Embiid quickly became the face of the franchise. Yet injuries have constantly interrupted his momentum, limiting his playing time and forcing cautious management. Despite this, he's a perennial all-star, a scoring machine, and a defensive anchor. Off the court, Embiid's outspoken personality and social media presence add drama and attention. His story is still being written, a mix of elite talent, adversity, and the question, how much could he achieve if fully healthy? Scottie Pippen, a superstar, a key piece of championship teams, yet often overshadowed and criticized. Scottie Pippen entered the NBA in 1987 as the 5th overall pick by the Chicago Bulls. A versatile forward, he could defend any position, create offense, and seamlessly complement Michael Jordan. Pippen's defense earned him multiple all-defensive team honors, and he helped the Bulls win 6 championships. Yet Pippen often faced criticism for his contract disputes, playoff performances without Jordan, and being labeled just the sidekick. Despite this, his skill set redefined the forward position, and his impact on the Bulls dynasty is undeniable. Pippen's career is a lesson in how greatness can be both celebrated and undervalued, especially when paired with an all-time superstar. Gilbert Arenas, a dazzling scorer, clutch shooter, yet his career became a cautionary tale. Gilbert Arenas, drafted 31st overall in 2001 by the Golden State Warriors, quickly became Agent Zero with the Washington Wizards. Known for his explosive scoring, deep three-point range, and fearless attitude, Arenas carried the Wizards through multiple playoff runs. Yet his career took a dramatic turn due to off-court controversies, most famously the locker room gun incident in 2009, which led to suspensions and damaged trust. Injuries compounded his decline, and by the early 2010s, Arenas' once promising career was over. Despite the chaos, his highlights, scoring feats, and fearless style left a lasting mark. Arenas' story is a reminder that talent alone can't shield a player from self-inflicted pitfalls. Anthony Davis, a generational talent, a defensive anchor, yet his journey has been plagued by injuries and missed opportunities. Anthony Davis, drafted 1st overall in 2012 by the New Orleans Hornets, quickly earned a reputation as one of the most versatile big men in NBA history. Known for his shot blocking, rebounding, and ability to stretch the floor, Davis dominated both ends of the court. Yet persistent injuries and untimely absences have overshadowed parts of his career, especially during critical playoff moments. Even after forming a superstar duo with LeBron James in Los Angeles, durability questions linger. Despite championships and all-star honors, Davis's story is a reminder that even elite talent can be hindered by health, timing, and circumstance, leaving fans to wonder what might have been. Chris Paul, a floor general, a master of control, yet often denied the ultimate glory. Chris Paul, drafted 4th overall in 2005 by the New Orleans Hornets, quickly became one of the league's best point guards. Known for his court vision, clutch passing, and defensive intensity, CP3 controlled games like few others. Despite individual accolades, multiple All-Star selections, and All-NBA honors, championships eluded him for years. Playoff disappointments, controversial trades, and injuries repeatedly stalled his quest for an NBA title. Even as he revitalized teams like the Clippers and Suns, Paul often faced heartbreak in the postseason. His career illustrates that elite skill, leadership, and basketball IQ don't always guarantee the ultimate prize, leaving fans to question what could have been. Ja Morant, a lightning-fast guard with jaw-dropping highlights, yet controversy and inconsistency have clouded his rise. Ja Morant, drafted 2nd overall in 2019 by the Memphis Grizzlies, exploded onto the NBA scene with unmatched athleticism and fearless playmaking. Known for his gravity-defying dunks, quick first step, and elite court vision, Morant became the face of Memphis's young core almost instantly. But alongside his highlight reel moments, off-court issues and lapses in discipline have sparked media scrutiny and team concerns. Even at a young age, these distractions have at times overshadowed his brilliance, limiting playoff success. Morant's story is a modern lesson in how raw talent can dominate the league. Yet maintaining focus, maturity, and consistency is key to avoiding the trap of being remembered for drama rather than dominance. Patrick Beverley, a relentless defender, trash talker, and thorn in every superstar's side, yet love from fans never matched his intensity. Patrick Beverley built his NBA reputation on grit, toughness, and suffocating defense. Drafted in 2009 and rising through overseas leagues before joining the Houston Rockets, Beverly became known for guarding the league's best perimeter players, his in-your-face style, and fiery competitiveness. While fans admired his heart, many criticized him for being overly physical, crossing lines with flopping accusations and drawing technicals. His career highlights include key playoff performances and a reputation as a pest who changes games without filling the stat sheet. Beverly's journey shows that impact isn't always measured in points, but in the chaos and energy a player brings, and the love-hate balance that defines true NBA villains. Dennis Scott, a deadly shooter from deep, yet his career is often overshadowed by what could have been. Dennis Scott entered the NBA in 1990 as the 4th overall pick by the Orlando Magic. Known for his scorching three-point shot, Scott became one of the league's most feared perimeter threats in the 90s. He set a single-season record with 267 made threes in 1995-96 and played a key role in helping Orlando reach the 1995 NBA Finals. Yet injuries and inconsistent playtime limited his long-term impact. Despite talent and sharp-shooting ability, Scott's career never reached the superstar heights fans expected. His story highlights how even elite shooters can fade quietly, reminding the league that longevity, Reggie Miller, a clutch legend, three-point assassin, and forever the thorn in the Knicks' side. Reggie Miller spent his entire 18-year career with the Indiana Pacers, carving a reputation as one of the NBA's greatest shooters. Known for his ice-cold demeanor in crunch time, Miller terrorized defenders with long-range bombs and fearless late-game heroics. His iconic 8 points in 9 seconds against the Knicks in 1995 remains etched in NBA history. Yet despite individual brilliance, Miller never won a championship, facing teams stacked with superstars. His legacy is a mix of respect and what if, proving that even the most clutch shooters can be defined by both heroics and missed opportunities. Julius Erving. Dr. J, the airborne innovator who changed basketball forever, yet earned his share of haters along the way. When you think of basketball's greatest showman, one name always soars above the rest: Julius Erving. To the world, he was Dr. J, a player who didn't just play basketball, he reimagined it. In an era where the game was structured and traditional, Erving brought something brand new: artistry. He floated through the air with an elegance that seemed impossible, finishing plays that looked more like paintings than points. His dunks weren't just baskets, they were events, moments fans would never forget. From the ABA to the NBA, Dr. J became the bridge between 2 leagues and 2 generations. He gave basketball a cultural spark, turning arenas into theaters and fans into believers. With his iconic afro, his smooth mid-range game, and those unforgettable skywalking drives to the rim, Erving wasn't just an athlete, he was a cultural movement. But greatness always comes with critics. Purists of the game dismissed him as too flashy, too focused on style over substance. To them, basketball was about defense, fundamentals, and structure, not gliding through the air. And as rivalries grew, especially against physical players like Bill Laimbeer and the bruising Detroit Bad Boys, Erving became both a target and a symbol. Loved by millions, envied by rivals, he was the player you either adored or tried to bring down. What the doubters didn't see was the truth. Dr. J wasn't rejecting basketball's traditions. He was evolving them. His innovation laid the foundation for the legends that came after, from Michael Jordan to Kobe Bryant to LeBron James. Without Dr. J, the highlight reel might not even exist. Julius Erving's legacy is more than stats, more than championships. It's the reminder that when you dare to innovate, you'll always divide opinion. Some will call it flash, others will call it genius. But everyone will remember it. Rasheed Wallace, a dominant big man with unmatched skill, yet infamous for his fiery temper and technical fouls. Rasheed Wallace was a big man unlike any other. At 6'11", with long arms, a soft shooting touch, and defensive instincts that couldn't be taught, he had the complete package. He could pound the paint with authority, then step outside and bury a three, stretching defenses in ways few bigs of his era could. On both ends of the floor, Wallace had the skill to dominate any matchup. But for all his talent, what defined Rasheed Wallace just as much as his game was his fire. He played with an edge, a raw emotion that often boiled over. Fans remember the scowl, the intensity, and yes, the technical fouls. Wallace holds one of the highest technical foul counts in NBA history, a testament to just how often he clashed with referees, opponents, and sometimes even his own frustration. For many, it made him a villain, a player whose temper overshadowed his brilliance. Yet, when you look past the outbursts, Rasheed Wallace was the heartbeat of a champion. In 2004, with the Detroit Pistons, his toughness, leadership, and two-way play helped deliver one of the most iconic upsets in NBA history, toppling the star-studded Lakers. He wasn't just a role player, he was a difference maker, the kind of player who could tilt a series with his presence. Rasheed Wallace's story is one of contrasts: brilliance and volatility, dominance and defiance. To some, he was a hothead who couldn't control his emotions. To others, he was a warrior who played with unmatched passion. But one thing is certain: when Rasheed Wallace stepped on the court, you couldn't ignore him. And that, in the end, is its own kind of legacy. DeMarcus Cousins, a monstrous talent, yet his career was marked by drama and instability. DeMarcus Cousins was a force of nature. At 6 feet 10 inches and nearly 270 pounds, he was built like a bulldozer but moved with the skill of a guard. Few big men in his era had the complete package the way Cousins did. Soft hands in the post, a reliable jumper, surprising three-point range, and the vision to facilitate offense like a point guard. On his best nights, he was unguardable, a walking 30 points and 15 rebounds, a reminder of what a dominant center could look like in the modern game. But with that immense talent came turbulence. Cousins' intensity was undeniable, but too often it boiled over into frustration and conflict. His time in Sacramento was filled with clashes, with coaches, with management, even with teammates. While fans saw the highlights, insiders saw the volatility. Technical fouls piled up. Headlines focused on the drama as much as the dominance. Then came the injuries, the Achilles tear, the knee setbacks that robbed Cousins of his prime years. Just as he was finding his place in New Orleans alongside Anthony Davis, ready to challenge the league's elite, it all unraveled. Potential championship runs slipped away, leaving only the question of what might have been. Cousins' journey across teams, from Sacramento to New Orleans, Golden State to Los Angeles, never quite fulfilled the promise his talent suggested. And yet, his legacy is complex. To some, he was too fiery, too unstable to lead a franchise. To others, he was one of the last true dominant big men, feared every time he touched the ball. DeMarcus Cousins' story is the ultimate paradox. Brilliance shadowed by volatility, dominance cut short by fate. A career defined not only by what he achieved, but by the haunting echoes of what he could have become. Every legend has a story. Some inspire, some warn. Don't miss the next chapter. Subscribe now and witness the untold NBA truths.